We will go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, or good evening. We've got our meeting for the St. Joseph County Regional Water and Sewer District for February 2nd. Don Smessert currently is absent. Roger Narat, I know he is not feeling well and will not be here tonight. We need to look to see if there's people in there. Jessica Clark is present. Mike Dobson.
Here.
Mark Espick.
Here.
Jacob Plazinski.
Here.
And I think Paul said he would be in attendance. He just might be a moment running behind. So we have minutes from our January 12th meeting. Are there any comments, questions, or motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the January 12th meeting. Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. Report of Board of Officers, our financial report. Due to the timing of the year, we have our claims approval form. I pass around for February, but we'll do our financials in March.
Can we come back to claims later? Because I'm going to add some to it.
Okay. We can circle back on that then.
We don't have financials. We do have bank statements. I think I sent out the bank statements to everybody.
Yeah. Do you mind? You want to go ahead and read through the balances?
Sure, you want to go
Or I can do that? Yep.
And before you do that, I've got, since we didn't have Bank of New York last month, I've got them now, so I'll start with those. These are the 12/31 balances. Bond and interest account with Bank of New York, $173,266.90. And then there is a debt service reserve with a balance of $186,560.35. Of note, interest earned for December was at 4% of the balance, so you're getting, between the two accounts, $1,000 of interest a month right now, which is obviously much better than it has been.
For our bank statements from First Source Bank, our general account ending balance is $16,239.37. Wyatt is $32,828.71. Auten is $40,282.84. Granger is $175,117.68. And Carriage Hills is $147,722.12. And then we will circle back on the accounts payable form. Customer inquiries or requests to extend in municipal services. At this time, I'm not aware of any new requests. Just checking to see who's on there. We are still having communication back and forth with Universal Forest Products, and there is also a user in Wyatt that is a new user that wants to connect. I'm not sure. It may be related to one of the properties.
Commercial property?
It is, yes. So
I believe I heard something about that.
Did they give a time frame when they'd like to connect?
I think they're looking to do so quickly. And I know Brett was in communication with them because I did see some of that go back and forth. District project updates. Granger. Not aware of anything at this time. Carriage Hills or Auten, similar. Wyatt.
So Wyatt, we have a couple of things going on in Wyatt that I can report on. We had another status meeting with JPR on Tuesday, I believe, of this week. Jessica and I were in attendance. JPR's study is approximately 80% complete. They are providing 2 to 3 different alternatives that would allow for the treatment of approximately 60,000 gallons of leachate, as well as the discharge from the other residents in the sub-district. It looks like the three alternatives will be all some form of expansion of the existing plant, not a completely new plant. Again, I'm not an engineer, so I got a little bit lost during some of those conversations, but it really did look to me like the ultimate goal is to expand the plant. And according to JPR's analysis, that would be the most economical financially. There was a significant discussion by both Waste Management, who participated in the meeting, with engineers and executives on what alternatives would become. There was some frustration on their part as to the costs that JPR was speccing. JPR made clear that the costs were based on real-time costs taken from other projects that they're doing nationwide. So JPR was real confident in the value or the cost estimating that they were putting into the various alternatives. You know, I don't think it's secret. I think it was, the lowest price was about $6 million.
It was like 6 to 9 million were the options, I believe.
It does sound like, you know, JPR's made some good progress, especially with some of the issues they had with the Yellow River and hydrology. So there is an option there. We advised Waste Management that they ought to look at this report, and then we can come back to have some talks about what that would look like. That's where it stands. I don't know if there was did they give a timeline on when they think the report will be ready for the board to review?
Maybe March. I want to say they were looking to touch base again in February, have some more, I think, internal conversations from a waste management standpoint, and then it would be ready. I know the cost of the alternatives are giving them some pause.
Yeah. Once we read the report, then we can come up with options. I do think there needs to be a pretty significant discussion about that sub-district and its capabilities. I don't see Asbury on, but my understanding is that the Wyatt treatment plant is struggling with how things are going down there. Struggling to maintain biomass, and it's costing the district extra money, and there's just a lot of complexity that probably wasn't thought of 14 years ago.
Well, again, it seems to be the biggest impact is due to the leachate strength that we are experiencing today.
But it is still in progress. The other bit of news is.
Okay, yep, Brett's on now. We can circle back.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. You can go through.
Okay.
Brett.
Brett, I wasn't sure is there anything specific to Granger that you needed to discuss? We're on Wyatt.
Yeah, so on the Granger project, we are currently working on plans for a new Wendy's restaurant to go in at the corner of Adams and 023. So that would be a new connection to the system. This is the vacant lot just east of the Walgreens.
Oh, okay, yep.
So we have the current seating count that I'll provide to you, Jessica, so we can confirm the RU count and the connection fee and everything. And I think right now the plan for submitting those construction drawings to the county for permitting was beginning of March. So, but we have that information now already in place. So I will let you know what those numbers are.
Would they be connecting off the 23 line rather than the Adams line?
They're going to go north to Adams. That's the larger line.
Okay. I couldn't remember where, because originally, wasn't it, in theory, we're looking at a Dunkin' Donut, Jimmy John site that they went elsewhere, but I didn't remember where the lateral for that one was.
There isn't a lateral for that lot that I know of. They're gonna have to cut across Adams to the north side of the street, but, yeah, the line is larger on Adams than it is on 23, and we wouldn't have to deal with, permitting for running a line under State Road 23, so
Good point.
a lot of reasons to connect on Adams.
Okay.
Are they far enough along that they've made contact to find out what the capacity fee, connection fee, and what their,
They need to determine, we just need the information and then provide it to them, because I think,
obviously,
yeah,
seats?
we would need, if they have a site plan that would give us their number of seats and hours of operation, then we can verify what their REU count is.
Yeah, I know, we have a seating count. I don't know if we have a confirmed hours of operation, so, I'll, talk to the rest of the project team tomorrow and make sure we get that information.
Thank you. Moving down to Wyatt, the new customer in Wyatt, where was that customer being located? That inquired about connecting to the system?
That, I'm not sure exactly where, but it's south of the main community.
Okay, okay.
We can, provide a address for the site, tomorrow morning if you'd like that. I'm not really sure how far along in the process this property is, if it's just a very preliminary discussion, or if any development there is imminent. And I don't think we've had any further discussion with him since our first report to him of how that service would be set up.
Okay. For the Hills neighborhood, did anyone reach out to you about utility locates by chance?
Those requests would not come to me. Those would go through our that specific department. So
Yes.
I can reach out and confirm that.
We received a request from a fiber company, because I don't know if they had not reached out to 811. And so people were looking for a contact for the district, and I said at a minimum you could call Brett to get the direct contact for it, because I said JPR does our locates. But if you are calling and going through 811, we would get the notification. And that was the response that they were going to be given, and if it needed to go through you, it would go that second step, but maybe that resolved the issue.
Well, I will look into that tomorrow morning.
And it is MetroNet that is running facilities in that area, apparently. Do you have anything else, Brett, to discuss?
No, I don't believe I do.
George, if you want to
Do
continue
you want-
on Wyatt.
Do you want to
please.
go back to claims, or?
Are you ready yet?
Yep.
Oh, okay, we can go back to claims.
Totals on
Yep.
the back.
All right, for our February claims approval form, the new approved requested amount is $74,567.58. And mostly, I know we've received some additional electric bills, AT&T, NIPSCO, and a few Asbury. I think we had our Wyatt operation invoice that we received that reflects the difference between what's shown on the form and the additional $10,000, basically. And we can, you mind sending this back out to the board once you get back to the office?
I would want that one
Yes,
signed,
we'll sign
pass
it
that
and
one
then
around,
pass
have
it
it
around.
signed, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly claim form for $74,567.58.
We have a motion,
Second.
motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. Thank you. Pass this around for your signatures. Now we'll circle back to Wyatt.
So probably more just new business. I advise that we hold an executive session of the board. Indiana's open door laws are pretty specific on what an executive session is and is not. They should be used sparingly and only under certain circumstances. The statute enumerates what those circumstances are. When scheduling an executive session, we have to do so with proper notice, 48-hour notice, in advance of every session, stating certain things, and we have to publish that notice in the way that we would our normal meeting schedules or other public hearings. The purpose of this executive session is to discuss strategy for two potential issues. The first is for the initiation of litigation against the district. We've received in writing a complaint from a customer and need to have discussions about that complaint because it did in fact threaten litigation. The second is a real property transaction. So we'd like to combine both of those together and have an executive session. Outside of Indiana's open door laws, we would propose that we publish notice tomorrow and that we have that executive session early next week.
Can that be done virtually?
I believe so. And if it cannot, we would set this room, but also have the virtual option. So if it needs a real spot, but I don't think it does because there is no public component. There's no place that you have to host. So yes, I believe it can be done via Teams, and that's my goal, to send each of you a Teams link for maybe Tuesday, just to be sure we've cleared the 48 hours, which I think is, if we publish on Friday, it may actually go into Wednesday, because I think the 48 hours is probably Monday and Tuesday. Does not include the weekend. So it might be Wednesday, even Thursday afternoon, evening, kind of 5:30, so that you can all link into that session. And we would need a quorum.
Wednesday, I'm not available on Wednesday.
So maybe next Thursday. Please give it some consideration. And I can be flexible with times as well. It can be later in the evening or pretty early in the morning if that works for everyone.
Go ahead, Jake.
I say I can be available either day.
Same here. I just gonna need info to get on. I'll be south, be on vacation. I may need a phone connection versus Teams.
So the link for Teams, our Teams invites have
Also
a
has
phone number.
Okay,
Yep, it's kind of a mobile-friendly push button. It'll kind of do it all for you.
all right, thank you.
What date?
Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, Wednesday the 15th, Thursday the 16th.
What time?
Flexible on time, I'm thinking 5:30.
Okay, I can't do Thursday, I could do Wednesday.
I mean, if you're looking at the 15th, that's different, because next week is the 9th or the 10th.
Oh, I'm sorry, I went a week ahead.
We all want spring.
Yeah, really quickly.
If you're looking at I'm able to do the 9th.
You're able to do the 9th.
Yes.
Is there a specific time that works for you on the 9th, Mark?
Is the 9th,
The 9th is a Thursday.
I can't do it. I've got a park board meeting at 7 o'clock, the second Thursday of the month.
Okay.
So I just can't.
Okay.
Or if it's during the day.
I can do
I can
daytime.
do.
My meeting starts at 7, but
7
it's an
p.m.
hour from here.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
that's what I mean, but there's times on the 9th that you could do it earlier in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. I mean, we can do 4 o'clock.
Yeah, sooner I know that time, the better.
I will send out an email once we get notice published with the time. Yeah.
Even 3 o'clock maybe, just to make sure that Mark has enough.
Okay.
We need to touch base with Don to see, I'm not sure what his flexibility is during the day.
I will try to get a hold of Don and Ralph, Roger, on,
Hopefully he's feeling better.
With that link, will an agenda be attached to that for the?
I probably
session?
will not have a written agenda. I will have something that I will display.
Typically, it's just the notice.
Yeah, it will be the notice that you will have.
Okay.
And again, the purpose is, a lot of this is protected by the attorney-client privilege. That executive session is the only way that we can guarantee these as your meetings are normally public. You know, we're real stringent. Indiana's very, very particular about those open door laws. So, sorry to be difficult with it, but it's important.
Thank you. Report of county officers. We have area plan, county surveyor, county health,
No report.
county engineer. No report. From an old business standpoint, because I would say the comp plan is moving forward. There was a call on Tuesday through the working groups that summarized some of the pillars and the topics and recommendations that the working groups were forming. And I believe they're taking that information and then progressing it forward to then kick into the public outreach input phase. I am not sure, I wasn't able to stay on the full length of the call, so I don't know if they gave an anticipated timeline for when the public outreach aspect will begin.
I did stay on.
Okay.
It was, they thought
I dropped off right at
maybe
7.
mid to latter part of March, but
Okay.
they were still trying to answer all the questions that were being asked. And then obviously they wanted more survey results,
Okay.
so. I think it's doing well. I noticed some of the messages out there, people are a little frustrated about the vagueness in how do we do. So that's kind of tough. And you have obviously varied opinions, but it'll be interesting to see what they are able to bring out to the public and what then can be massaged going forward. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
And I can also give an update on the drinking water protection plan. There was a meeting on Wednesday, just one of the regular update meetings. However, the working group, along with the county engineer, had looked at various areas to submit to IDEM for their consideration for effluent limits for an outfall for various locations, just to kind of see what IDEM comes back with. So I believe those applications are going to be going into IDEM here in February. And then depending on their review time, when that information comes back, I believe then it's going to be sitting down with the health department and Sky again and talking about what those results were to start then really being able to identify the feasibility of a wastewater treatment plant or whatever solution for basically that north central part of the county. And then they're also working through solutions for the entire county areas and offering recommendations. But we're at the point where they're submitting information to IDEM for consideration for that anti-degradation study and see what the parameters, what type of flows may be achievable. It's a comprehensive countywide study, but focusing for wastewater treatment solution for basically that north central northeast part of the county where we have our highest density of on-site septic systems. unfortunately, which I don't think this is surprising to anybody, the cost of the solutions are going to be significant. So at the end of the day, it's still whether or not people want to move forward with a solution.
And I mean, are there programs, are there dollars downstate that would
There are.
help defray
There are.
some of that expense?
There are.
Okay.
So,
Because everybody's gonna be in favor of that solution until they see their utility bill is now 3 times its neighbors. Because again, there's a cost to everything.
And they are looking to identify a site in Michigan, potentially, so,
A wastewater,
for an outfall.
okay.
Or it could be that the wastewater treatment plant would be sited in Michigan and you still have the outfall in Indiana. Because there was some concern regarding treatment and, I guess, jurisdiction of treatment between the two states. so.
States.
So they're both moving, I'd say between the comp plan and the protection plan, they're both moving forward. And we're probably, I wanna say like that May timeframe, we're anticipating hopefully to have information back from IDA.
Great.
Keeping fingers crossed that it's a more timely review than planning for a longer review. Any new business to bring before the board?
I have a question. Is there a connection available at Auten and Kenilworth?
The sewer line is on the north side of the road.
Yeah,
Of
so
Auden.
it goes right
At
down through
Kenilworth.
there. Yeah.
And they would be able to connect if needed? Okay.
I mean, it's still a low pressure force main. So it would require grinder station.
The north side of Auten?
Is it the home there that's been remodeled in the northeast corner?
I'm not sure. I just got a text asking to inquire about it. It's either a commercial site that we're having some issues with up there or a home. But, you know, part of it, are the district maps available so we know where these lines are?
I believe
If you have the address, I can probably provide you record drawing information for that location. We've had a couple inquiries up in that area over recent months where the old family video site was, and so we're pretty familiar with some of that area.
Yeah.
There is a GIS layer in the county's system that has the general location.
In ArcGIS?
It's supposed to be, yes.
Okay.
Bev does have
All right.
the maps.
Yeah, it may not be available to us, but I'll get it.
Right.
Okay.
I was made aware of, by a township board member of North Liberty that they are in the final stages of getting costs to run sewer and water out to Potato Creek for the lodge that is going to be built out at Potato Creek, along with an event center and an indoor water park. There's always been talk of Lakeville needs to do something. It's only another 3 miles, 3.5, maybe 4 miles from the entrance to Potato Creek to Lakeville. I mean, does that make more sense than trying to figure out how to go 12 miles east to Wyatt? And as I understand, North Liberty is flipping the bill for this. I mean, obviously, there's dollars coming back,
It
but
has to do with their stellar community grant money.
Where
I
does
guess
North- Where does North Liberty send waste? They treat.
However, who's your contact, or who contacted?
Randy Lemert, one of the board members of the town.
They do need to come before the board of the water and sewer district
So
to get approval for the extension into their
I told
territory.
him that when he told me that, I said, have you made this aware of the district? Because I did not know that, and I'm kind of concerned because if there was any opportunity that this might be something down the road and we needed to have the sewer line oversized for future, it'd been nice to know this, but I mean, as I'm hearing, they're gonna be under construction early summer. And why now are we hearing about this and in discussions that I know JPR has had, how St. Joe County's pretty small. The engineering companies all kind of know each other. It's just a shame that there wasn't some information spread. I mean, it may not make any economical sense, but if we're looking for an option to cure a problem at Lakeville, there's something going on to the west that we should have probably known about.
Well, and that's the reason for that statute of requiring your authorization, right? So that you can see the totality of the county, which they cannot. Would you like me to send a letter to the town council?
No, I mean, you can, but I told Randy you need to, and Evan Marsh is doing the design, so whatever's easiest. I mean, contacting Evan Marsh, I think Daryl is involved, but I think it's the LaPorte office of Evan Marsh that's doing the design.
I worked on that design. And Jeff Schaefer was heading it up for a little
Okay.
while. I don't know if he still is.
Okay.
Frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it is kind of frustrating because, you know, all we've ever heard about for an option to cure Lakeville's problem is going east. There's never been any discussion that I can remember. There might have been way back about North Liberty. But as I understand it, again, I don't know if he knows. He believes they have the capacity to handle whatever the park is going to put on, but, you know, I don't know what the needs of Lakeville is.
JPR did a feasibility study years ago. I don't know if Brett has access to that or knows anything about it, but I do believe that North Liberty was one of the options they looked at. I mean, this has been at least 5-10
Yeah,
years ago.
it's been a long time
It
ago.
was, yeah, easy 10 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's been a long time ago.
But running to the entrance of the park changes the dynamic. If they're already planning on running to the entrance of the park, like you said, you're now shortening the distance to get down to Lakeville.
Yeah, you're talking 3 to 3.5 miles from Lakeville to the park entrance.
All right, I can put it, I mean, if Evan Marsh gets through and they apply, that's fine. If not, then we can send them a gentle reminder.
Also, I can follow up with the county economic development.
I'll provide a quick update on the Douglas Road area. I know the widening project with the county, the city has a sanitary pump station that's being replaced as part of that project. That station is scheduled to go operational sometime in April this year if everything goes on schedule. It will increase capacity for the area that's east on Douglas Road towards State Road 23 that will service some city and county parcels. It was built back in the mid-'80s. And it's actually moving away from the creek a little ways. So I just figured I'd give that update just to make everybody aware. I know there's some developments that may be happening north of Douglas Road in the future for assisted living and some of those type of facilities. So we are prepped and ready to take on additional customers there. And we have some notices out to commit to provide services for sewer in those areas.
Douglas Road sanitary sewer line, Jacob, it's partly force main, partially gravity fed. So is it west of Ironwood, it's force main?
West of Ironwood, there also between the pump station and west of Ironwood, almost to the golf course, it is
Entrance,
force
yeah.
main. And then from The golf course west, it's gravity.
It's gravity.
And then gravity line east toward, from the pump station east toward State Road 23. And some of that does carry across State Road 23 to service some of the parcels on that side of State Highway.
Thank you.
Good to hear.
It's an exciting project.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Is that the elevation that the road's gonna be? So obviously the excavator has raised the dirt to the south of Douglas 3 to 4 feet. Is that to follow along the guidelines, federal funding? You gotta be 4 feet above 100-year floodplain level. I mean, no, the bridge has to be.
The
But when you-
roadway is raising some. They're also doing, they just, overloading to surcharge the soils adjacent to the roadway. So it may not be
As
fully.
high of elevation as
Yeah, I
what it
think
looks
they-
like today.
They piled more material in that area to promote settlement. So
Got it.
when the permanent improvements were made, they weren't settling underneath.
When you look at Notre Dame Cedar House, it's fine, but you look at the other 3 homes that are on the south side and the one on the north, substantially higher.
Mountain.
I haven't looked at that profile in a while, so I know exactly what you're asking, and because I was thinking that myself, but it may not be,
As
that may
high
not be
as,
the final elevation, yeah.
Okay.
But it is raising.
Yeah, yeah.
Due to the 100-year floodplain. We have any other comments? Do we have, or any public comments?
That's good. Don't forget Barry.
Oh, yes, yes. Just as a reminder, we do have our open seat, and if we have a recommendation where then we can provide resume and information to the council, that will help them in their decision to make an appointment to fill our board. So our next meeting is scheduled for March 2nd in this room at 5:30. If there's no other comments, I would call for an adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, so moved. Thank you.
Better than done. 6:10.